Alright, let's see. So, are we ready? No, because this guy still got earbuds in. So let's try this again. Class?
Yes.
Alright, so I gotta preach for a minute because this is gonna be some of the stuff that's gonna affect you the most in your life. And it's gonna affect you so much that quite possibly we're talking like hundreds of thousands of dollars if you don't pay attention. Okay, because there's certain things you have to get out of this. And cost of home ownership, which I hope everyone at some point should become a homeowner. But when you buy, you have to be smart about a lot of things. And those things are what we're going over today. And people like Hermit are not going to be playing on their computer because they're paying attention, right? So, going over this, what page are we on in the notebook? 19. Very good. So 19. So, cost of home ownership. We got some definition to go along with this. Okay, mortgage is the long-term installment loan for the purpose of buying a home. Okay, every time it is a mortgage, it has to do with you buying a house. Down payment is the portion of the sale price of the home that the buyer initially pays the seller. We've already done a whole bunch of that with the cars. Amount of the mortgage is the difference between the sale price and the down payment. This is going to be my, okay, PV. That's my PV. So we know where this is going to end up at. Fixed rate mortgages have the same monthly payment during the entire time of the loan. Variable rate mortgage, also known as adjustable rate mortgages, ARMs, have payment amounts that change from time to time depending on changes in interest rate. Don't ever do one of these. ARMs are horrible. They caused the housing crisis of 2008, 2009 in our country, which made everything ridiculously, and people lost a lot of their wealth because of this. So, don't ever get an ARM. Adjustable rate means that it adjusts, but do you think it's going to adjust in your favor? No. It's going to go up. Okay, it's not going to adjust in your favor. It only is going to adjust in the other direction. Don't do them. Okay, most lending institutions require the buyer pay one or more points at the time of closing. That is the time in which that the mortgage begins. A point is a one-time charge that equals 1% of the loan amount. Right here, loan amount is PV. It's not the sale price, it's not the cost of the home, it's not the down payment, the PV. So it's the sale price minus the down payment is your PV right there. Okay? For example, 2 points means that the buyer must pay 2% of the loan amount at closing. That's part of closing costs. Okay? When you go buy a home, closing costs could be up to $12, $15 extra $1,000 just on top of, you buying and making monthly payments. It's going to be a lot. So, you got to be careful a lot of things. A document called the Truth in Lending Disclosure Statement shows the buyer the APR for the mortgage. So that's going to be what the interest rate is for the exact part. It doesn't do it on an ARM. The adjustable rate, it doesn't do that. So, this is why you do here. In addition, leading institutions require that part of the monthly payment be deposited in an escrow, an account used by a lender to pay real estate taxes and insurance. Now, I've had about 10 loans, okay? Let me see, like 4 houses, 5 houses, 10 different loans. All of them have escrow amounts. You have your loan payment, which pays off your house. But then part of your loan payment is part of your taxes, which also goes into this. Estate taxes and insurance. Tax and insurance are not part of your regular payment. They could be equal to or more than what your actual payment is. I know people in California, okay, their payment was only $1,500 a month, but their taxes and insurance was $2,000 a month. The taxes really got them. So altogether, even though that it's over $3,000 is what they pay a month, but only a little bit goes towards the cost of the house. So where you buy your house affects how much you really pay. So if you're buying in the ghetto, guess what? Your insurance is probably going to be more, but your taxes are going to be less. If you're buying in the bougie neighborhood, your insurance is going to be less, but your taxes are going to be more. So you got to be careful about those. All right, hey, look, it's something we've seen a whole lot of. PMT. So what is that? What does that mean to you? What does that mean that I'm actually going to be doing here? I'm going to be using what? Finance solver. I'm going to be using the finance solver here. So that's going to be helpful. Okay, is that what you're doing right now? You're bringing up finance solver? Okay. Because I see some people over there on their computer, you know, not really doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's all right. Okay, I'll see you at summer school. We're going to use finance solver here. The price of a home is $315,000. A bank requires a 10% down payment and 2 points, which is important, at the time of closing. The cost of the home is financed with a 30-year loan, fixed mortgage rate at 4.5%. Find the required down payment. Okay, so I first am going to find the down payment. $315,000, and this is by the cost of the home. So let's go over here. Let's find the down payment. So my down payment would be $315,000. What percent do we need down payment? It's 10%, right? So I would multiply this by 0.10. And that should be 31,500. So 31,500 is my down payment. Okay, after I find my down payment, okay, I'm going to subtract those two, and this is going to be my PV. What do we got for this one? 283,500. This is my PV. Now, if you notice, I'm labeling every number, okay, and I'm showing what I'm doing to get that number. And I'm hoping you guys are actually taking good notes on how to get there for each one. Now I'm going to back up again. So my down payment, $31,500. Find the amount of the mortgage, which is going to be my PV, was 283,500. How much must be paid for the 2 points at closing? A point is 1%. A point is 1%. So now we got to try and figure out what 2 points is. I'm going to go off to the side. It's my PV, and I need to get 2% of my PV. So I'm going to take my 283,500. Multiply that by 0.02. This is my 2 points. Five, 6, 7, 0. Okay. Okay. 5, 6, 7, 0. Now find the monthly payment. Ooh. Okay, now we're going to go through and find the payment. This is important. So we're going to use the finance solver. So that's my N, I, PV, PMT, FV, PPY and CPY. Now we got to do a bit of calculating here. So how often do I make my payments? Every month, right? I make my payments every month. So that means what?
For 30 years, 360.
My PPY and CPY is going to be 12. Okay? My PPY and CPY are going to be 12 if it's monthly payments. Now, N is going to be my number of payments. How long is this loan for? How many years? 30 years. So it's going to be 30 years. So if it's PPY and CPY is 12, for every year I make 12 payments. So to get N, it's 12 times 30. 12 times 30 is going to give me 360. My interest, 4.5. My PV that I found, 2, 8. Okay, remember, we found our PV, right? We got our PV because I took my price of the house. I found my down payment. I subtracted the down payment, and that gave me my PV. Okay, so it's my price minus my down payment is my PV. So we're solving for payment now. What do you think future value should be? 0. My future value is always 0 for a loan. Because you want to pay it off, you want your balance down to 0. So we could use NumWorks, or we could use the calculator that I gave you guys, or had you guys get. We could use either. But just to keep everything the same, I'm going to use the NumWorks, and then our calculators are for something else today. The next example, we're going to do compound interest, and we're solving for payment. So let's plug in our numbers. So this is 360, 4.5. PV is 283,500. Future value 0. 12, 12, and confirm. My monthly payment is going to be $1436.45. Yep, $1436.45. Okay, there we go. $1436.45. Now I have my monthly payment. Now the last thing this is asking for, is total interest, isn't it? Now the total interest for a loan is slightly different than total interest as an investment. So they're backwards from each other. So total interest for this loan would be my PMT times N minus PV. It's almost like I have all this written down here for a reason, so I could do this also. And I'm hoping you guys are trying this out. All right, so what do we get as total interest? 233. 6 what? 622. That's a lot of money. Now, in full actuality, what this really means, I borrowed $283,500. I paid all that back, plus interest of $233,622. So I paid back what I borrowed and then an extra $200,000. That's crazy, right? That's a whole lot of money I'm paying on top of this. So what you need to be careful about when you're doing this for real is your interest rate, your terms of loans, and these things right here. You're gonna have to try and figure it out for yourself. What's gonna be working best for you? If you pay off this loan over the course of 30 years, you're gonna pay, let me see, what's that, 500,000? You're gonna pay over $500,000 for a $283,000 house. That's how that works. And even worse, housing market right now, you're probably gonna pay 7% interest for the same house nowadays. Is that 4.5? Yeah, that's great history. 7% or more. So you gotta be careful about these things when you're buying. Now, example 2. Okay, loan amortization. When a loan is paid off through a series of regular payments, it is said to be amortized, which literally means killed off. Kind of like I would like to amortize some students for sleeping in my class. Not implying that's anyone in here, right? No one in here is drooling on their computer right now. Is he asleep? Like he's like totally out of it. Anyway, although each payment is the same, with each successive payment, the interest portion decreases, principal portion increases. A document showing important information about the status of the mortgage is called a loan amortization schedule. Okay, you're gonna get this when you actually you sign for your loan. This is where we're going to use our TI Inspires. We're going to use our TI Inspires on this one right here. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to do everything that we were doing previously with my document. So, my financial solver, N, I, PV, PMT, FV, PPY, CPY, so let's see what we have just with this information. What do you think N is? It is 180 because it already gave you that. I, PV, 210, 210, there we go, 210,000. Do I know what my payment is? Yes, I do. 1715.88. Future value of all loans? 0. PPY? 12, because it's monthly, and CPY is also 12. Now we're going to use the calculator. Okay, now for the sake of everyone knowing exactly step by step, I'm going to have you guys clear the calculator first. So this is what I want you to do right now. Go to Scratchpad, which is right here. It's right below Escape. Go to Scratchpad. So your Scratchpad should be here. It should at least say Scratchpad. Then everyone right now is pressing the dock button. Dock button is right below the home. And then the letter B. So right now it's in red. So the dock button and then the letter B for boy. And it should clear everything that's on your scratch pad. So it clears out everything. Okay. Are you on the scratch pad?
Yes.
Hit the button that's dock. You found it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now hit the letter B.
Okay.
There you go. It's clear. All right. Hopefully everyone's there because I have some people playing on their phone right now. You're in the wrong area. Hit escape. Okay. Still in the wrong area. This is where you're at. Okay. That's scratch pad. Okay. So what is that? Okay. So we start at the scratch pad, right? And now we hit dock and letter. Very good. Okay. Alrighty, so now that everyone's there, so it's going to make life easier here. Now, from this screen right here, we're going to go menu, finance, and guess what we're selecting? Nope, not finance solver.
Cash flows.
Amortization. The whole thing that we're doing is called amortization right now. It says it right there in the notes. I don't know if you missed that one. Yeah, Okay, so amortization, and we're doing a table. Amortization table. So, did you write these down to get there? I hope you did. Because someone's going to ask me here in a moment. So we hit menu, finance, amortization, and then amortization table. So now it's going to look like this. Everyone's screen should look like this. Now we're going to enter in the values for this problem. So looking in the value, so I'm going to start with my first thing is how many payments do I want the calculator to show me? Yeah, let's just show them all. So if I only wanted to see the first 2 payments, I would put 2. But I want to see all of them right now. So we're going to do 180. Now you're going to hit comma. Comma is in the bottom left-hand corner of the calculator. So on my screen, can you see it's in red? I highlighted it in red. Bottom left-hand corner. So it's 180, comma. Now, next thing. So after the 180, comma, now it's N. What was my N? My N is? N 180. That's why this starts out kind of weird, because my first number is how many payments do I want to look at. Now it's N, hit comma. What goes after N? I, which is 5.5, comma, hold on. Okay, after I, I'm going to have payment. No, I'm sorry, not payment, PV. PV, what is my PV? What is my present value in this one? 210,000, right? Now, here is the change. Here's the change. So after my comma, after the comma, you do not need to enter your payment and future value. So what you do is you just hit comma, comma. So there's 3 commas next to each other. I don't have to enter the my payment and future value. I could if I want to. Okay, but it's not going to help me. So I'm going to leave those ones blank, and I'm going to let the calculator do all the calculations for me. What comes after my future value? PPY and CPY. So that's going to be 12, comma, 12. So this is what everyone should look like right now. And hit enter. All right, so now let's see what this means. So as I scroll up, I'm looking at payment numbers, which is on the top. My payment number. So when I make my first payment, how much is going to go to my interest? On my first payment, it's going to be interest. How much is going to the interest? $962.50. So, out of my payment, which my payment was $1,715.88, $960.50 just goes to interest. How much goes to principal? What was the next number? Yep, 753.38. There we go. So that's how much goes towards my principal, paying down my loan. So you would think you're making a payment on your loan, your whole payment should go towards paying it down, right? No. A lot of it goes just to pay interest. Okay? A lot of it goes just to pay interest. And we'll talk about how to fix that or how to help yourself with that later on. But that much goes towards your payment, and then the balance of the loan, which started out at 210, which is now 209. What's the numbers? 247. Point. I have a point on mine. .62. 209.246.62. There we go. So, after making one payment, your loan amount didn't go down by $1,700 that you made. It only went down $753.38. That's how these loans work. They loan you money, they make money off you borrowing money from them. That's how it works. Now, for you people right now, what's the next one going to be? What is on the second one? 959.05. Okay. What's my principal? 66.83. 56. And
208,490.
208.
490.
490. Hold on, let me see what mine says. 208 489 8980. Okay. So I have to change the settings on your guys' calculator so you see as many decimals as I have also. So, what do you know the difference in between these two payments? Your interest, you're paying less interest now, right? Because what's happening is you're paying interest on the entire amount. You're paying interest on the entire amount over here, which is in this last column. If your loan balance is lower, you should pay less interest. And because of that, your monthly payment more goes to principal for every payment you make.
So the more you pay, the less you have to pay interest.
Very good. So let's say, for instance, you are capable, be like, hey, I got an extra $100 this month. I'm going to put that towards my loan. Do you know what that's going to do? It's going to reduce the balance of my loan by $100 because that's going directly towards this right here. So anything extra that you could pay on your mortgage helps out a lot. Big time, it helps out a lot. So that's going to lower your interest you pay on your next payment. So you'll pay less interest in the long run. So by doing that, there is a way, if you were to just add $50 to your payment, you could take off, actually I think last time we looked at it, it's $100 on your loan if it's a $300,000 loan. If you add $100 to your payment, you can knock off 10 years of your loan. Yeah, I'm serious. You can knock off 10 years off your loan by doing that.
100 per month?
Every payment, every month, if you add an extra $100. So if my loan was $1,715 and I pay $1,815,
It'll be 20 years.
that's an extra $100 off in this category over here. So that will take off 10 years of your loan. So that's how we are able to better your situation. Sometimes you just got to go with the loan you have. And that's one way to actually improve this for a lot of stuff that you can't do anything about. Yes, you have to pay payments, you have to pay interest, but there's a way to lessen it. And that's a smart thing to do. So I'm going to leave off here and we're going to pick up again tomorrow. So make sure you guys all like, share, and subscribe. This assignment's already out there. I want you guys to actually start working on this. When you get to the amortization problems, okay, you do need these calculators. It is not on NumWorks. That's the reason why I had you guys get these.